Thank you.
It is time.
Okay, I'll bring the regular council meeting Tuesday, July 4th, 2023 to order at 7:01. We'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the traditional territories of the Indigenous peoples of the Treaty 7 region and the Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3. We respect the histories, languages, and cultures of the First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our community. Are there any changes to the agenda? If there's no changes to the agenda, make an motion.
I'll make the motion to accept the agenda be accepted as prepared.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 3.1, June 20th, 2023, regular council meeting minutes. Are there any changes to the minute? If there are no changes to the minute, can I get a motion?
Chair,
Go ahead.
I motion the minutes of June 20th, 2023 regular council minutes be accepted as presented.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 4.1, FCSS Crossfield Community Wellness, September 7th. Any discussion? No. Yeah, if everyone's read it, there's no discussion. Mayor Harris declares September 17th, 2023 as Crossfield Community Wellness Day. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 4.2, temporary road closure request.
I'll do that one.
Thank you, Lindsay.
A local business is requesting a partial closure of McCool Street to host their 4th annual Show and Shine on August 13th, 2023. The closure will be from the south end of Harvest Lounge and Grill parking lot entrance to the south to Western Drive, leaving access for Plastifab as needed. As noted in the enclosed letter, the businesses along McCool Street within the closure area are closed on Saturdays and will not be affected by the road closure. The fire department operations have been circulated with no issues or concerns with temporary closure, and the operations department will provide barricades for the road closure. Administration is recommending that Restructured Customs Inc. request to temporary close McCool Street from the south end of 813 McCool Street to Western Drive for a Show and Shine on August 13th from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. be permitted, ensuring that they maintain the full west side of McCool Street to be clear for emergency vehicles, including sufficient room in front of hydrants on the east side of the street and access to the property entry points along both sides of the street, and that the applicant provide a copy of adequate liability insurance listing the town of Crossfield as an additional named insured for the event, and that the operations department provide the required barricades for the street closure, and that the applicant ensure that all affected businesses be notified of the closure prior to the event.
Thanks, Lindsay. Questions for Lindsay?
Yearly event.
Yeah, it happens every year. This year it's not at the same time as another event, so
No.
that's really nice.
Mhm.
All right. If there are no questions or concerns, can I get a motion?
You're the chair.
Go ahead.
I move that the temporary road closure as recommended by administration be approved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, Mayor and Council update. I attended Savage Fest and the Farmers Market this weekend. I was there for about 3 hours. It was really good. The bands were good. The Farmers Market was pretty cool. They're the biggest pomegranate ever. That
It was there.
not lying.
Wow.
It was pretty huge. And I had a conversation with the Creation Community last week. We'll have a meeting with them coming up. Deputy Mayor.
The only thing I have on my list is I also attended Savage Fest on Canada Day, July 1st.
Thank you. Council Brennan.
Nothing further to report.
He's got no sound. You have nothing further to report?
Nothing further to report. Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Gustafson.
Last Wednesday, our Rockview Foundation met. Nothing really new to report there, just kind of a steady as she goes with a new lodge in Cochrane, and we're getting very much closer to getting some residency in the Abriel place in Airdrie. Couple more months and we should have some people in there, I hope. So all is good.
Good news. Counselor Knight,
Nothing further to report.
Counselor Lambert,
Nothing further to report.
Counselor Vang,
I attended Savage Fest as well on the weekend and the Mark II. But it was really good show. Just unfortunately we didn't have good turnout.
whether I think has something to play with that. Just on that note, yeah, it's just sad that our neighbors to the north of us had that tornado, and really happy that there's quite a few residents and businesses in Crossfield that went out and helped out. So I'm thankful for our good Crossfield people. Okay, can I get a motion?
To the chair,
Go ahead.
I'll make the motion that mayor and councillor updates be accepted as presented.
All in favor?
Uh,
Motion carried. Item 6.1, Department Director update.
Thank you, Mayor Harris. Good evening, council. I'll just highlight a few of the items that I've reported on for this month. The provincial government did announce at the beginning of April that there was going to be an increase to the FCSS budget. We did receive our amending agreement. So all FCSS agreements received a 4.5% increase for the 3-year agreements. So starting as of April 1st, we get 4.5% more. So, excuse me, for 2023, we will see a total of $74,723 and 59 cents from the government. And then for 24 and 2025, we'll see $75,536.78 for each of those years. That's an increase from 72,284. So it's marginal, but every dollar counts. So we will make good use of that.
Just on that note, do we know how we're going to distribute that? Do they have to reapply or?
I believe for this year, Nicole's got some ideas for some internal programming up to the end of the year. For next year, I know that we've already got a couple new applicants, so that'll help us fund a couple new applicants in addition to our past ones.
And then I'm just curious to, we approve on a yearly basis, not on a 3-year cycle.
Right.
Are we ever moving to that 3-year cycle? Or are we just going to leave it on a yearly basis?
It's actually not something that we've talked about. I think the 1-year cycle has just been kept because that's kind of how it went in previous years. But now that we're on a 3-year agreement. Oh no, actually it was always a 3-year agreement, was it not? No, it was year to year. Yeah. So I mean, it's something that we can consider. I guess one hesitancy on my part there is a lot of times their programming may change from year to year for some of these groups, or we may get some groups who we didn't have before now looking. So
But it's not mandatory from the government for us.
no, we are, we're allowed to
Oh, okay.
dole it out as we see fit, as long as it fits. Yeah. I don't think so either. Yeah.
Thanks.
We have put out a request for proposals for the arena concession for the next season. So those are out now, and I believe they are due the end of July. So hopefully we'll have an arena concession open for this season. We had a progress meeting with MPE and Simcoe on June 23rd for the ice plant replacement project. The new plant is scheduled to be installed just after the August long weekend. And then following that, the west wall will be rebuilt and the vestibule will be completed and the mechanical and electrical work will be completed. So at this time, everything is currently on schedule and on budget. So we're really happy with that, despite a couple of minor setbacks with asbestos and that sort of stuff. But we're still good. Fire chief and the officers with the fire department are going over the proposed levels of service policy to kind of make some tweaks there and see what that all looks like. We've also scheduled a meeting with the Rocky View Lodge and the Manor on July 11th to introduce Bill to them, as well as go over the levels of service with them, because I know that that was kind of the biggest concern with the change in levels of service. So following all of that, we'll bring that back to council. And those are kind of the big things for now. Also attached to that is just a summary of the calls for May 2023 for the fire department. And then the RCMP has also implemented an online reporting, crime reporting tool. So.
That's great. I'm happy to hear that we're making some revisions to the bylaw enforcement.
Yes.
So thank you for that. In addition to that, I think it's nice that we have the alleyways all tidied up and everything else, but when I look at our downtown and I look at some of the businesses there, I think, well, why aren't we asking them to do something too? Even the church parking lot is a little overgrown, and that's as soon as you come into town.
Yeah, and I believe those are on the schedule, but I will find out. I haven't had a chance to chat with Trevor yet. Our holidays kind of were week after week there, so I will be talking to him tomorrow about that to see where that is on the plan.
Sounds good. Questions for us? No questions for us? Okay, Director of Operations.
Thank you, Mayor Harris. Good evening, council. I'll just do a couple of highlights of my report as well. As you know, council approved a rezoning for a property just north of some residential development on McCaskill Drive, or to the east of it. It's for the east half 3528-1 west of the 5th, the Highway 2 development, Highway 2A development. It has been approved for an automobile dealership, body shop, equipment sales, and storage business. The notice of decision has been advertised to allow for appeals, and the end date is July 10th. We're currently working with Urban Systems on the Dream Area Structure Plan. Lindsay and I have a meeting with the developer on July 12th to speak to the latest revisions. Should the revisions be satisfactory and address comments that have been shared through staff, planning, and engineering consultant review, then we will work with the developer to determine an appropriate timing of next steps. We have scheduled a tentative meeting with council and our planning engineering team to hold a growth and planning for the future of Crossfield on September 21st. I also wanted to give you an update on the development side, the capital budget update. So we were approved by council for the municipal development plan and land use bylaw update and refresher. However, we are awaiting the appointment of the new CAO before we start, unless council directs us to start sooner. In the operations department, we have relocated the accessible parking spots along Railway Street. Line painting, including the community center parking lot, has been completed. However, I noticed that Lott Avenue has not been completed. I will be following up on that. Plot cleanup at the cemetery has been taking place. And our operations guys have been assisting with Waterworks department with the valve exercising. The capital budget update for operations are as shown. The installation of exhaust system at the shop is underway. We anticipate the work to be completed by the end of summer. The sidewalk replacement, the annual sidewalk replacement project is complete. 575 square feet has been completed. And our asphalt overlay program is nearing completion. 2 of the 3 intersections have been completed. The last intersection will be completed by the end of summer. And then, of course, to transform the single purpose vehicle to multi-purpose has been deferred to 2024. Under water and wastewater department, 2 sewer line repairs and 1 water line repair for 2023 will result in some asphalt and sidewalk repair. The asphalt has been completed. We are starting both operations and water and wastewater. We're starting discussions for the 2024 operating and capital budgets. And just an update on the capital budget for the water wastewater department. The decommissioning removal of the North Lift Station has started. The building has been removed and the underground work costing has been determined and the project is going to start shortly. And the wastewater treatment and disposal feasibility study is underway and anticipate its completion in fall.
Okay, Merrill,
No problem.
questions for Merrill?
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
Meryl, do we do kind of a debrief at the end of the year when we're talking about the sidewalk replacement and the asphalt overlay program? We just kind of look at it, see how we did, come within budget. Did we spend all the budget because we have the money sitting there, or did we get enough done? Get build more. How are we doing for next year? Are we kind of on track for that?
Yep. So we've already identified what needs to be done next year. We completed 16 areas of Crossfield. It used up the entire budget. So the budget is finished for that. So the remaining panels will be replaced next year. They've been identified.
And same with the asphalt overlay.
The asphalt overlay, we're starting to identify new areas in town that need attention for sure. Murray's keeping a list and we're going to be discussing that when we start our budget talks.
Mayor, if I may, I just actually wanted to back up because I forgot Russ was done his work. The question for I had for you, Russ, is I really was on the fire department and the amount of calls. We had 41 calls. Is that correct in the month of June? As I read it?
May.
Okay, oh, sorry, May. My fault, May. And 63% of those calls were medical. Now, it's great we're keeping these stats. I'm pretty sure we can dive deeper into that, but we really don't need to at this level here. It's really at the point where we need to be bringing this again to AHS's attention, for the need of different services in this town if we're going to continue in this manner. Our fire department resources obviously are getting used up for medical calls. So, and I think even all of council would agree with, we got to be hitting the AHS here, new government, but come September, really get on them, say, hey, this is.
I agree,
this is
and
our problem.
I don't think we even wait till September. I think we should send something now.
Yeah.
And you bring up a really good point. The other point would be ask them where our ambulance is. We were supposed to get an ambulance parked here in Crossfield. Where is it?
Mhm.
We've got a bay for it that we can charge them rent for.
So, yeah, I think, let's take a look at. We probably don't even have to go back 6 months. It's every month we see this, it's quite evident where the fire department is spending their time. And it's, 63%. I don't know if that's pretty consistent over the month, but what I've looked at the last couple of times, it's pretty close, and they're spending a lot of their time dealing with that. Not that it's a bad thing, calls need to be dealt with by somebody. It's just we're kind of taxing our resource again. We've already talked about the levels of service. We're here again looking at this. So
I will say that in their discussions and thoughts and talks about the levels of service, the fire chief is on board with trying to bring those down and wants to, like we talked about before, take away the lower non-emergent type calls, the alphas and bravos.
Yeah.
With a stipulation in our levels of service that will say something to the effect of, unless AHS is going to be X number of minutes away, then, or a second call, whatever that might be, then we'll send a crew to go and
yeah,
help.
for sure.
There's quite a few municipalities already that don't do Alpha Bravos. There's some that don't even do, I think it's Alpha Bravo Charlies.
Yeah.
They don't do those either.
And I think he's going through the different as well, like the different lists of of the different various calls within, say, Charlie. Because there's Charlie's kind of a funny one where you've got some that are emergent and some that aren't.
Sure.
So there may be a list of these Charlie calls that we will go to because, like, say, for example, a seizure or something like that, that may be one that we go on. So he's looking at all those options and we just want to also go over it all with the lodge and the manor just to make sure that they understand where we're coming from with that.
And absolutely, but we see these amount of calls, they're probably not going to go away anytime soon, I don't think. It's just, it's a bit of fuel for our fire to light underneath AHS and get them to say, yes, you do need, hey, the data shows that you need this kind of service here in addition to your fire service.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's not like we just don't go. We just need to add a service here to supplement what we're doing already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I had. Thank you, Mayor.
Meryl. I had a question for you. Oh, just on like, are we doing more sidewalk repair next year?
Yes.
Just any time I think that we do like a sidewalk repair, road repair, it's all about the timing of how that happens. And I know that there was some sidewalk repair right at Grad.
I'm aware.
Yeah, and I think that if we can try and avoid something like that again, it would be a good idea.
I agree.
Yeah.
We'll make sure that we coordinate next year
Okay,
much better.
thank you.
No problem.
All right, no other questions for Meryl? Okay, Lindsay.
Thank you, Mayor Harris. Just a quick administrative update. We've invoiced our May bulk water accounts for a total of $19,853.39 with over 53 accounts. We are currently exploring a prepayment program with our Flow Point, which is our bulk water program, and currently have a pilot program running. And depending upon the outcome of the pilot program, we're going to look at beginning the prepayment full time. In May, we issued 1,636 utility bills and with 253 past due notices sent out. And of course, that changes monthly. We are currently working on a backflow prevention program and getting non-compliant commercial and industrial businesses on the program. And that is it's hard to get people to comply with that. So we are working on them and sending notices and reminders in that. As of June 28th, the property tax update, there were 832 accounts that are currently on TIPS program, 221 accounts that were paid by the mortgage companies, and there was 263 accounts not yet paid. But as of today, there's 121 accounts that penalties were applied to. So that's not too bad when you think of how many tax properties we have on file. And we've to date have no assessment complaints, and accounts payable in the amount of $887,744 was processed for the month of June.
Way better than last year.
Yeah.
That's good news, Lori.
Yeah.
Amber's done a good job too. We have that tax calculator up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And running. I think that's helpful for anybody who can find it on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. Good news story.
The chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lindsay, in regards to the bulk water sales, I know we adjusted the rate this year. Are we seeing more sale volume, or is it kind of similar as in the years past?
Similar to years past. Yeah.
I just have a question, Lindsay. 314.
Yes.
They haven't given the town payment yet on their sales.
No.
Is
Not that
that
I'm aware of,
something
no.
that we can pursue?
Yeah.
Because that would be for last year.
I know Amber and I believe Meryl have been working on it and trying to reach them, but to no avail. So, well, we can.
Happy
Follow
to
up again.
drive over with you and knock on their door. Any more questions for Lindsay? No? Excellent. Can I get a motion, please?
The chair.
Go ahead.
I motion that the director or the department director updates be accepted as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, correspondence, we have a 2023 new local business report, a letter from Alberta Municipal Affairs, Town of Crossfield Library Board financial information. Any comments or questions on the correspondence? Not, can I get a motion?
Through the chair, make the motion that the information under correspondence to be filed for information.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Upcoming events, July 31st to August 3rd, Viewpoint Summer Sizzle Day Camp for ages 11 to 15. This is a free day camp held at the Crossfield Municipal Library and put on by Closer to Home Community Services. FCSS is helping by taking registrations. July 14th, seniors trip to Saskatoon Farm. I think I'm old enough to go,
Bowling Tea Club.
right? Crossfield Youth Escape Summer Recreation Events, July 3rd. Water Wars, July 5th, Kellaway Park, July 6th, Scavenger Hunt, July 11th, Flying Squirrel, July 12th, Craft Day, July 13th, Swimming, July 17th, the Zoo, July 19th, Dodgeball Tourney, July 20th, Swimming, July 24th, Nature Walk, July 26th, Night Game, and July 27th, Swimming. And at the end of that, I'm just going to say, just thank you to, all the volunteers that put on Savage Fest and brought another event to Crossfield. There's no motion required on that one. There's nothing else. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Through the chair, I'll make the motion that we adjourn the meeting at. We have no clock. 7:28.